This saga has taken far too long. The contract was awarded, as you know, in November 2017, so it was declared as an irregular tender by the Auditor General in December 2018. So it took time to get to settle this matter once and for all. And Koli would recall that 12 days ago when he had me in the studio, I promised to him that I will resolve this matter, within 5 days in my office. And this is the culmination of that process to ensure that I'm the man of my word. Now, what happened is now we have agreed to terminate the contract on mutual agreement. There's no golden handshake. What will happen is Gladafrika will just continue with its projects that has been duly paid up until the end of June 2019. And further than that, we will have to go on a new service provider process and a new procurement process through our supply chain management process. So I am following through on the Auditor General's remedial recommendation that said we need to disclose this contract and deal with it and deal with the supply chain management issues, which is what we have done, and also ensure that we deal with consequence management. So it's a two-pronged process. The first one is to...
That's, of course, the brand new mayor of Tshwane, Stevens Mokgalapa, promising that the Gladafrika contract will come to an end. Well, we've got him in the studio, but he is also joined by the chairperson of the African National Congress in Tshwane, Dr Kgosi Maepa, and by the Young Communist League, Mr Kgosi Morifi, who joins us to examine what has been the driver of this contract and why, for example, we still have in fact, the city manager who is so integral to this in the city. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the program. Mayor, you've had a 2-minute bite, so I'm going to start with your opposition. Mr. Maepa, you have rejected the reasons for the contract that has been cancelled. You're also suggesting that a golden handshake was given, which directly, contradicts what the mayor is saying. Who is lying?
Oh, first of all, good morning and good morning to the viewers of ENCA, and thank you for having us as the ANC. You will know that from the 15th of August is the ANC that actually came and exposed this malfeasance and corruption in the city of Tshwane. But also is the ANC that has always been driving this issue to its logical conclusion. The executive mayor came out on Monday last week to say that they will terminate the contract, but they will go on the 30th. We sponsored different views. As the ANC, first of all, we said it must be terminated with immediate effect because it was an irregular and illegally awarded contract. So there was no logic in taking it to the 30th. So that was decided by council. Secondly, there was an issue that, what about payments? I mean, the ANC proposal was that there shouldn't be any further payments or incur any money to the 30th of August. So immediate effect means that it stops right there. So we can't say that we have immediate effect and then continue to pay because it becomes an oxymoron. I mean, to say you terminate but you continue doing something else. So the ANC then put a position that which multi-party in council, everybody then came on board and agreed on it. So as the ANC, we had stood by our position. Our position was very clear that Gladafrika must be stopped. If they want to take the city to court, yes, well and good. But if the Auditor General pronounces on an issue and gives a report on findings, you can't go against that and then do something else. We just have to stop just right there and move on.
Okay, Dr. Maepa, let's hold for a while. I want to bring the Young Communist League in. Mr. Morifi, you've been on my show on 702, and you've been suspicious of both these two gentlemen and the way they've managed the Gladafrika contract, and it all centers around the city manager. And the city manager, of course, is the person who was integral to signing this contract. We've got reports that he bullied councillors, but also he lied about the previous minister's appointments. He told us that SACA had, for example, cleared everyone's accreditation and the qualifications, and SACA, of course, sent us a letter saying that they don't even have a contract with the city. What is your position on this matter? Why is the city manager still employed? Does the YCL want the city manager out? And both the ANC and the the DA had the opportunity to sack the city manager and they haven't done so.
Yeah, quite correctly, Karima, as you put it. I think one issue that must come out, very clearly, is that the YCL is of the view that even the new mayor, Mr. Tshwane Mokgalapa, he's captured by the municipal manager. And this is, a demonstration in how he wants to handle the issue of Gladafrika. One, let me just point out one thing about Gladafrika, which I know that it has not been spoken about. Gladafrika uses the resources of the city. If there's anything that the city must do, must first recuperate the money that the Gladafrika has been using. They are using the offices of the Department of Transport of the city. They are using resources of the municipality, calls, water, rent. They are not paying anything. So this is a grand looting by Gladafrika. And the municipal manager is at the helm. Of course, the big man of corruption, Mr. Mosola. Just one other issue I want to raise is that in terms of Section 78 of Municipal Finance Management Act, it is the role of the senior manager and the accounting officer in particular to make sure that there is no irregular, wasteful, and fruitless expenditure. So once the Auditor General declares that this is an irregular expenditure, any expenditure incurred after the findings of the Auditor General, it is wasteful and it is fruitless. So Mr. Mokgalapa is saying to us that after the period under review, after the 30th of June 2018, there has been expenditure which is not clear. And this man had the balls to tell us that he is willing to spend 250 million on the very same contract, even after the findings of the Auditor General. So Mr. Mokgalapa, clearly Mr. Tshwane, is captured by the municipal manager, and we are worried about that.
Mr. Mayor, your response to all of this. First of all, why is the city manager still in his position? And this 250 million that is being spoken about, why are you paying it, given that the YCL is arguing that the Municipal Finance Management Act says that you can't?
Thank you very much, Karima. And I would want to first thank all the multi-party parties in council for agreeing to my recommendations and with the amendments that we terminate the contract with immediate effect. Now, it's a two process, Karima. One, it is to deal with the irregular contract, which is Gladafrika, which I have dispensed of as of Thursday because of the contract has been cancelled. The second one is the consequence management, which now it goes to what we call the IMPEC, which is the Municipal Performance Audit Committee, as well as the APC, the Audit Performance Committee. Those committees are the ones that drills down into the investigations to ensure who is culpable.
Is there an investigation into the city manager?
There is already an investigation with the Bowman and Gelfen. That report is still in court because of it was taken to court. Now, what I did and what I promised was that in 5 days in my office, I will deal with this matter decisively, which is what I've done. The following process is now to follow the due process in terms of consequence management, which are the Auditor General's recommendations, is to say, declare this contract irregular and ensure that you follow the council processes, which was done on the 31st of January.
So why are you still paying the 250 million?
We are not paying the 250 million. And let me explain to you, Karima, in simple terms. Gladafrika had already, they work on task forces. So what they do is, they invoice the city as per work that they do. So the 250 was in the order of transparency to say the city might or might not incur 250 million.
But it was irregular. Why are you obliged to pay?
Because it
Which law obliges you to pay?
We are not paying. There is no payment. It was a disclosure of the amount that the city might incur in terms of the work that they've already done. And what the council said on Thursday was that once we terminate with immediate effect, and one of the resolutions said that, it's that the city will only pay them the outstanding invoices of the work that they have done and no new work will be paid to them. So the 250 doesn't arise. It arose as a form of just transparency to say the city might incur this amount. But in light of the resolution of council that came on Thursday, terminating the contract with immediate effect. It means there is no further payment that will happen to Gladafrika. Suffice to say, only the outstanding invoices that they have. That's all.
My colleague
so
Peter.
I'm going to just ask you all, because I'm the idiot at the table here. Let me ask you all the same sort of question. When the DA runs both Johannesburg and Tshwane with some sort of arrangement with the EFF, which is a party which isn't around the table here, so they can't speak for themselves. And in both cities, we find that the EFF has been able or is vulnerable to the accusation that it is influencing the awarding of certain contracts to certain people. In Johannesburg, it was AFRI Rent replacing Avis, which is now not happening at the moment because it's been delayed because it ran into trouble. Is the city manager an EFF appointee, or I'm just genuinely asking because I don't know. I mean, was he appointed by the mayor on the advice of the EFF partner?
I can answer that.
Yeah,
I can answer that.
Anybody?
Please go for it.
Yeah, let me tell you. You see, the reason why Solim Simanga is not there, it is because Soli has attempted to suspend the municipal manager. Because the municipal manager clearly is an EFF person. So the EFF is the de facto leadership of the city of Tshwane.
What evidence do you have for that?
The EFF will go against, will not leave any stone unturned on the municipal manager. And a demonstration is with some of what was tabled. And this is why we're also worried that the ANC seems to be speaking in folk tongues on Mosola, because if you don't want a person to be there, it does not matter how the person lives. You can always add charges later. That this is where our criticism towards the ANC came from. That why are you speaking in folk tongues? Are you captured by the municipal manager as well? The manner in which the municipal manager has managed to capture the EFF.
Dr. Maepa, that is a very legitimate question, because the issue of tabling the termination of the contract has been before Council. You've opposed it on technical reasons, and I've asked you this question personally. I've said, what does it matter how you get rid of him? Get rid of him and lay charges afterwards, like the YCL is saying. Why are you not prepared to do that?
No, Karima, we don't like when people do easy victories and claim them. Easy victories, because it's the African National Congress on the 15th of August that came out with the scandal on the city manager and the mayor. They are dually and severally responsible. The ANC has never moved from that position. It's the ANC that started and exposed this corruption. It's the ANC that said both the city manager and the mayor must go. It's the ANC that pushed a motion.
So why do you stop the... But why do you
Let me answer further. Let me answer. I'm going to give you a full comprehensive answer.
The manager from being sacked, because if you vote together with the DA, you can have the numbers.
Yeah,
why don't you do it?
But the DA will answer for itself. It's on the table. The ANC has never stopped any removal of the city manager. The ANC has said, in fact, that if you want to suspend the city manager, you must use the Auditor General recommendations. The recommendations that Msimanga had brought forward was how the city manager was fighting with him on social media, on Facebook and so on. We said we want it on record that when the city manager is removed, he must be removed on those basis. But let me explain something here, and I don't want us to mislead the viewers and so on. It's the ANC that came with the recommendations that happened on council. We have it on record. I've given it to you. We have it there. All the recommendations that were put forward is the ANC. I put it here on record vis-a-vis what had been proposed. So it cannot be that the ANC, again, is the one blamed. Remember, the ANC is not government. It's Msimanga who hired Musola. It's not the African National Congress.
But what does it matter, Dr. Maepa? What does it matter? There is a proposal to get rid of the city manager.
Where's the proposal?
Who is clearly corrupt.
Where is it?
Let's give the YCL a chance. Why are you unhappy with your alliance partner that is not getting rid of the city manager?
I think the ANC, after some of our statements, I think the ANC in the past 2 weeks has spoken that the municipal manager must go, and this is what we've been waiting for. That it is long overdue. I mean, yes, the ANC started the process. We're quite happy about it, but somewhere along the line, the ANC gave more impetus on Msimanga and left the municipal manager. And we're saying, no, but you can't leave the big man of corruption. Mosola is corrupt to the core. Why are we silent and focusing on Msimanga? We were saying, and because with reports that some of the members of the caucus of the ANC are in the pockets of Mosola. And we were saying...
Is it difficult for you, Mr. Mayor, to vote with the ANC to find the...
Peter, not at all. And I've proven it this Thursday. This Thursday, I had my initial recommendations of termination against Let Africa. We had a multi-party caucus with the ANC, with the EFF, and all parties represented in council, and we crafted the resolutions as we all agreed. So I've shown my intention that I would want to work with all parties. So it was done. But on 3 occasions previously, the motion to suspend the municipal manager was turned down by the ANC and the EFF. So I don't know the circumstances that led with that, but what I'm saying is that when I follow due processes and in the spirit of what we achieved on Thursday collectively, because I want to put it across that it's not me only, it was the collective of council with all the parties that are
including
there.
The ANC.
Including the ANC. By the way, most of the recommendations that we have now against Let Africa were sponsored by the ANC. Yeah. It was just the semantics of the wording. It was the same as mine, but the semantics was the wording. So when I'm following now the consequence management into culpability, into who must be held accountable for this Let Africa saga, I would definitely also rely on the same support that I got on Thursday from the multi-party parties in council to move the party forward. So it's, for me, it's not, I'm a new guy, I come with a new vision. And I would want to come to a stage where I would be asked what is my vision of Tshwane and what rather than what happens in the past. So I've dealt with the elephant in the room with this Let Africa. Now I need to follow due processes moving forward to ensure consequence management.
Mr. Maepa, I'm going to give you the last word, but I quickly want to give the YCL an opportunity. Be very, very short.
Yeah, well, the point we want to raise is that is the DA-led administration, together with the multi-party caucus, willing to take Let Africa before the Commission of State Capture Inquiry? Because this is, amounting to grand looting. Something has got to be taken. If the mayor is serious about consequence management, is he willing to take the matter to the Zondo Commission?
Okay. Mr. Maepa, you've got a minute. You were praised by the mayor that you worked together. Why are you not working together to get rid of the city manager?
Yeah, but Karima, the ANC is an opposition party in the city. If a report has to be tabled in Council of Removal of City Manager, it's brought through Section 1315 by the mayor, not by the ANC. The ANC is not running the municipality, remember. The DA and the EFF and the other parties are running the municipality on a coalition. The ANC is the opposition party. So it is the ANC. The ANC is ready to support. Remember, the ANC said, and it agreed with the Auditor General, that the mayor, the former mayor, and the city manager are dually and severally responsible. They must take responsibilities. The ANC that advanced those issues. So it can't be questioned as the ANC today that the ANC doesn't want to vote. The ANC is ready. It only said that it must be voting on the factual basis of the corruption. Because we can't say that we are removing the city manager on Facebook. We are removing city manager on the issue of corruption as identified by the Auditor General on record. So that is the position of the African
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. We will watch you very closely and how this matter proceeds. Thank you so much for joining us. After the break, we take a look at some of the stories that are making headlines in the Sunday papers.
Let's go.